Tonight, President Trump is threatening to mobilize the military to stop a caravan of migrants from crossing the border. As many as 4,000 people from Central America are making their way through Mexico, with their sights set on the U.S. The president says the onslaught of migrants includes many criminals.
Deportation and separation can trigger PTSD among some children along the Texas border. That's the claim of a new study by a California-based advocacy group. This report, released just this week, documents how the forced breakup of immigrant families impacts Rio Grande Valley families. Eyewitness News border photojournalist Jose Sanchez shows us how this stress can affect children.
This is a story from a 10-year-old child. What I felt when Border Patrol took my dad was the worst. I felt that something was missing. When I would go to school, I would see other children with their dad and I would cry.
1,800 kids were forcibly separated from their parents in the fiscal year of 2017 in the Valley, and that is a result of local law enforcement working with federal immigration officials.
I got sick a lot. One day, I got sick on purpose.
They're afraid to drive, they're not going to medical appointments, they're not taking their kids to specialists. Kids are suffering from what's called toxic stress.
Mis hijas perdieron el interés de ir a la escuela.
The issue of affecting their ability to succeed at school, which is also tied to health.
Su hija despertaba llorando, preguntando por su papá.
And we really wanted to use this study to really educate our own police chiefs, public officials, and so they can see in black and white how does this practice affects citizen children.
And researchers found that nearly 1 in 5 children surveyed in the Rio Grande Valley experience at least some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder.